Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. We are once again taking a look at some of your replays. Today we're going to be joining MongoMave in his Leopard 1. This is one of just the most fun tanks in the entire game, and we're going to really have a master class as MongoMave puts on a show for us and shows us exactly what the Leopard 1 is capable of. Notice here, we're going to start on Sand River, and personally I prefer to fight in the south, and that's where MongoMave is going towards as well. The Leopard 1 has a very nice snipey gun. It's got very good penetration. MongoMave is loading in some premium APCR, and you get some nice shots often into this down valley, and that's what Mongo is trying to do. With the Leopard, you have really good damage per minute. You have fantastic accuracy, some of the very best amongst all medium tanks. You've got some nice gun depression, you've got excellent mobility, and really the only thing that the Leopard 1 struggles with a little bit is that it's missing some armor. I would consider this tank to be sort of a quintessential medium tank. It's really well rounded. It can do almost anything you want, except it just doesn't have that armor capacity, and so you're a little bit of a glass cannon, but wow, does it do so many different things well. And this is why the Leopard 1 is one of the most popular tanks in the entire game. It's not flashy, it's not, what's the right word for it, it's not something that you're going to say, wow, only the Leopard 1 could have done that, but it's just such a great all-rounder that you could utilize this and be successful in just a ton of different situations and positions, and it just makes it an absolute joy to play. He's got that incredible accuracy. Perhaps only the Leopard 1 could have hit that shot amongst all medium tanks, and with the enemies sort of scattered around and not really paying attention to him, he can just hit these shots so incredibly reliably. It's just amazing to see shot after shot go in. He's getting fantastic spotting damage as well, already up to 3,000 damage of his own. He's spotted about 2,600, and Mongo is absolutely cooking. Notice how he's able just to pop over the ridge, expose just the tiniest part of his turret, and he's immediately fully accurate towards his opponents. This tank is just really great at sniping at these small engagements where your enemy's at 100, 200, 300 meters distance. You can pop up, put in a shot, and they're going to struggle to even aim at you before you've already released your shell and pulled back behind the ridge. Mongo is pushing forward. He's noticed that there's a bit of a lull in the combat, and he doesn't have great shots on anybody, and he does see a tasty M6Y. The M6Y, the American heavy tank, really a terrible tank overall. It's got pathetic damage. It's, I think, got some of the lowest damage per shot amongst any tank, and Mongo is going to do something that I understand, but I'm not a huge fan of, and he's just going to start trading with this M6Y. I think Mongo probably could have outplayed this M6 in a few different ways. Instead, he's just elected to put shot for shot his 420 damage in for the M6Y's 240, and so he absolutely wins that trade, but you have to wonder, did he sacrifice too much in that engagement? Because he really, I think, is the superior player, and for sure is playing the superior tank, and he perhaps could have saved a few hit points, which he will desperately need in the replay to come. Now, we've got Mongo. He's looking for shots on this Hori. He's got sort of some pixel shots, no great opportunities right now, but he's going to hang out, he's going to demonstrate some patience, and he's going to just try to loop in a few shells. There's not a lot exposed on the UDES right here, but if you're going to be taking pot shots and just chancey shots with any tank in the game, the Leopard is just one of the very best to do it, because you can hit a really high percentage of these shots over and over and over. Now, one thing I really like that Mongo's doing is he is always pushing forward the pace of the combat. He realizes the UDES is scared off, the Hori hasn't popped up in a while, and he wants to get forward and start farming just a little bit more. He takes a look at the Seag tire, pulls back because he's just got no interest in getting shot by that big old gun. And now he's going to do exactly what we saw on the other flank. He's just going to pop in and out, in and out, in and out, and he's going to put in these shells so incredibly reliably. If the Ag Tiger jolts back and forth at all, like he just did, the Ag Tiger will be inaccurate, and then Mongo can just put in these shots so incredibly reliably. I wish that he would have aimed for the tracking shot right there. The Leopard is one of those tanks that can hit tracking shots even at this 350 meters range. But regardless, he's going to farm up the Ag Tiger. He's put himself in just a tiny bit more risk than he needed to, but it ends up working. And we're already up to 7,300 damage. We're over 10k combined, and we're just over 5 minutes. Now, right there, Mongo takes a shot at who is that over there? That's that Claw Demon, and we're going to see Claw Demon later in this replay. He's going to be notable. Mongo is trying to get an intuition switch out there. I can confirm that he has intuition. He mistimes it just slightly, and so now he gets completely tunnel visioned on the FB and takes a huge shell from the Hori in return. That's 700 HP. That was almost all of his remaining health, and so now Mongo is a one-shot for half of the enemy team, and he's gonna have to play much more carefully. The Udis pops up. Ooh, that was a little risky, but he does get the kill off, and now he's going hunting. Mongo notices on his mini-map that the Progettos are on the far right of the map, and he's got an opportunity to do what medium tanks do best, and that's just absolutely farm tank destroyers when their backs are turned. He loads HE. I love this play, and he's just putting in huge shells into this Hori. Absolutely beautifully done. Now the Hori turns around. He realizes he can't go through. He makes the great intuition swap, and I'm not sure what plate he hit right there. Unfortunately, it does bounce, and so the FV cleans up the top, or stops good old Mongo from getting his top gun. Now we're facing two almost full HP Progetto 65s, and you're starting to wonder, is this situation just absolutely hopeless? How is Mongo and his ally FV going to get through this? But they put in some great shells. The FV is doing a great job of tanking the enemy fire, and now we're just wondering, what just happened? Claw Demon and his Progetto 65 just crashed his entire tank. And now we're left with Mongo and the FV215B. They were in just a precarious situation overall, and suddenly their 2v2 with a health point disadvantage has become a 2v1. Wow. I have no idea why Claw Demon crashed right there, but his throwing play has just created an incredible opportunity for our hero Mongo. Mongo is now up on HP. He is able to tank a shell from the enemy Progetto, and at this point he has to be feeling really good about what's going on. The FE215B, this is Imor Incognito. What a great name. We're just going to call him Incognito. Incognito has enough HP to tank 3 hits from the enemy Progetto, and Mongo has enough HP to tank 2 hits from him as well. So as long as they get an all-in engagement where both of them are attacking at the same time, the Progetto actually cannot clip them both. He can clip one person, but he can't clip both of them. And so if they're able to full-on engage, they should be able to take this down for a win. Right here, Mongo's a little worried. He's wondering where the Progetto went off to, and he's kind of waiting on Incognito to get into a better position. This is, I think, a place where the Leopard is really strong. You've got great mobility, you've got decent camo, you've got good view range, and so as you're hunting for those individual tanks in a wide open late game situation, you're going to have a great opportunity to outspot your opponents. Right here, Incognito kind of driving out into the open with reckless disregard to the danger in front of him, and suddenly the Progetto is spotted. Incognito takes a shell, fires one in return, misses. Incognito takes 2. Oh no. And Incognito dies, and suddenly we're left in a 1v1. The end of this game. That shell misses. The Leopard absolutely should be able to hit that shot in a solid percentage of games. Unfortunately, that shell misses, and suddenly what looked like a golden opportunity has now just turned absolutely catastrophic. Mongo is left. He's a 2-shot for the enemy Progetto. The Progetto has enough health to tank 3 shells from Mongo, and Mongo is not in the auto-loader. Or perhaps I should say the auto-reloader. The Progetto, so long as he gets an all-in engagement, if he just YOLOs towards Mongo and gets him in close range combat, is going to be able to tank 2 shells before dying, and he can load his entire clip into Mongo. The Progetto can literally... Oh, great opportunity. Oh, I hate the play from Mongo, though. Mongo could have aimed for the track right there and penetrated. He does not. However, he gets track, he puts in a shell, and he goes off the edge of the cliff. Beautiful play. He makes up for his missing tracking shot and manages to put in 2 shots for the Progetto's 1. And suddenly we are in a 1v1 where both tanks are 1-shots. So long as Mongo rolls on average, he's going to be able to take down this game if he gets the first shot in. And oh heavens, this is tense. He pops up. Perhaps the Progetto's in the bushes. Doesn't get spotted. And so that gives Mongo some key information, and whoa, there's the Progetto. The Progetto's kind of looking and then backs off, and you can cut this tension with a knife. We have 1v1, both are 1-shots. Whoever has the quickest draw is going to win, and Mongo is just thinking, what can I do to win this? I love that he's not going into the cap circle. Why give your enemy information that he doesn't need? Whoa! Dodges a near miss from the Progetto, and right here we're just going to be playing chicken for a few minutes. In this situation, you do not want to go into the cap circle because the Progetto can then pop up from multiple different angles, and you have very little chance to react. Much better to play this cat and mouse game where you're going in, circling around, trying to take away his best options, and don't give him any information on where you are if you can avoid it. Mongo knows he's pointing down. He's got the high ground. This is an advantage because he can just expose his turret, while the Progetto has to expose his entire hull if he wants to go up. And so Mongo's trying to keep that high ground advantage, poke in and out, guess where the Progetto is. He's not getting spotted over here on this western side, and so Mongo decides to rotate. He's moving up. He knows the combat is going to come to a head first, and he's looking. He's hunting. Where? Oh, there he is. He thinks about the shot. He doesn't end up taking it. That could have penetrated in 1. Mongo points back, trying to get behind a rock so he can get a shell in, and then pull back before getting shot at whatsoever. And suddenly Mongo has it. He wants to go in. He wants to be aggressive, and he's got this Progetto dead to rights. He's aiming. He's aiming. He's got a beautiful shot. Here we go, and... Heartbreak. The shell misses. He had it lined up so well. That shot misses. I have no idea where it goes. And our hero Mongo finishes the game. 11,000 damage. And a heartbreaking loss. And just to put into context how close that shell was, I want to put it in slow motion. And we're going to see just how lucky, or perhaps we should say unlucky, Mongo is about to get. He sees his moment, and here is the shot. We're playing this in 1/16th speed. This is the Leopard. It's got one of the most accurate guns in the entire game, especially for medium tank. Now you might say this shot doesn't look great, but he moves his crosshair over. He swings it all the way in. He's aiming dead center. Look at the ring right now that he has access to. The shell could deviate, I suppose, into the ground. It's not going to, but everything else is just dead center, and he fires. Notably, the Progetto also fires at the same time. Watching where these shells go, moving, taking a look. If we zoom in, we can't actually see the shot yet. We can see the Progetto's shot is coming in, moving in. Look at this. First off, a ghost shell that perhaps we didn't see in the replay. That goes straight through. Perhaps it wouldn't have penetrated, perhaps it would have, but that is a ghost shell for the Progetto. And then if we take a look, what's going on with this shell? It has deviated straight to the left of the Progetto turret. It has just missed, it seems, and we are left with a heartbreaking loss. as this shell goes straight through the left side of the Progetto's turret, and that's where our Heartbreak begins. We have a ghost shell on the Leo. We have just an incredible miss. That shot deviated way outside of the aiming circle, and you have to just feel heartbroken for Mongo. And a quick look at the post-game results. MongoMave ends up with 11,300 damage, 5 kills. He gets over 3,000 assistance damage. And so this is actually a 14,000 combined game. Monster game for Mongo. He ends up doing 11,000 damage, far more than anybody else on his entire team. We've got to have a shout out to Nightmare Beast, who ended up with nearly 7,000 damage of his own. Definitely a worthy foe. And his platoon mate Claw Demon, with the catastrophic fall off the edge, did make this so much more intense than it otherwise could have been. With that said, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining. I'm sorry to end on such a heartbreak, but what an entertaining round. Please pay attention as we go into our giveaway. We're hoping to get that giveaway probably with loot boxes incoming, and details will follow. Once again, I'm Ladpad. Thank you so much for watching. Please drop a like and a subscribe if you're willing. And Ladpad out.